So our next topic is actinomycetes. So first one is the introduction. So actinomycetes, when it is in a singular, it is called as a actinomycete. Okay. So it is a large group of aerobic bacteria. Okay, which is a gram positive in nature, prokaryotic, and have a high GC percentage. That for they form the branching filament, and this branching filament is called as a filament, and this is also called as a hyphae. Then next is that they produce the asexual spores. This bacteria closely resembles fungi in overall morphology. When they grow on an agar surface, the actinomycete branch forming a network of hyphae growing both on the surface and the under surface of the agar. So the cell wall of this cell wall and the internal structure of the actinomycetes are similar to the group of bacteria, but they also shows us some character which resemble on the fungi. So which character? So they possess the hyphae, or they grow in the form of a filamentous structure. So this structure, because of this structure, this group of the bacteria is also called as a ray bacteria or the ray fungi. Okay, so this is also important for the MCQs. So dash dash is the example of the ray bacteria and ray fungi. So actinomycete is the group of the organism which is example of the ray bacteria. Why they call as a ray bacteria? Because they present, they shows the some characters of the bacteria like the gram staining nature, and they shows the some characters of the fungi like they they form the filaments. Okay, then next is that size of the bacteria. So this group of the bacteria is called as a true bacteria, which is not a fungus and placed in the kingdom bacteria. They are next is that the class of this bacteria is the acetobacteria, and these are ubiquitous in nature, found in the soil. Then they are the major source of the secondary metaboloids. Then they behave like the decompose, which carry out the degradation of the organic compounds like the chitin, complex sugar, hemicellulose, filamentous form. Okay. Then next is the definition. So actinomycete refer to prokaryotic or unicellular organism that are having gram positive cell wall. The morphology of the actinomycete is a more or less similar to the fungi because they can also produce a filamentous dense branch raised colony over the substrate like the fungi. Then they include the membrane like the Mycobacterium, Corynebacterium. The diameter of the actinomycetes is much smaller, that is 1 to 2 micrometer. And the next is, this is the overall classification: domain bacteria, phylum Acetobacteria, class Acetonobacteria, order Actinomycetes, and family is the Actinomycete. Then what is the structure of these bacteria? Okay, so actinomycete shares the following physiological parameters, in which size is, as I already told you, that is a 1.2 to 1 to 2 micrometer. Then the cell wall is made up of the muramic acid. Okay, then not cell wall but the filament is contain the muramic acid. Then they shows the aerobic character, some are the facultative anaerobes. Then in their cell wall mycolic acid is present. Then they are a group of the bacteria which represent as a slow grower. Why they are called as a slow grower? Because some time is required to grow their filament. Then I told you that they have the high GC percentage. So GC percentage of this bacteria is up to 60 to 78%. Then their population is in the soil is up to 10 raised to 6 to 10 raised to 80 gram per ml. Okay, mostly in marine habitat. And then they are non-motile, non-capsulated, and non-acid fast organism. They also show the optimum growth at the alkaline pH. So this is the life cycle of the bacteria, which include the stage. Okay, so I told you this one by one. First one is the germination. So the spores of the actinomycetes remain dispersed in the environment as a free spores. Then these free spore remain dormant until the stage of the germination, and when they get the favorable condition, they germinate by the formation of germ tube. After the germination, they start their vegetative growth. So this vegetative growth is followed by the germ tube. Okay, which eventually give rise to the substrate and aerial hyphae. Then primary mycelium, this is also called as a substrate hyphae. Then this substrate hyphae followed by the aerial hyphae. Then they shows the coil-like structure formation. Here you can see spore maturation, after spore release, germination, then the formation of substrate hyphae. This substrate hyphae then start to form a coil-like structure. Okay. So next step is that coiling. Okay. Then after coiling, they form the spiral-like shape. After that, the septation is occur. So here, in this stage, the septum is formed in between the vegetative hyphae. Then the spore maturation is occur, and after spore maturation they form the chain of spores, and these spores originated via the filamentous and swelling of the hyphae. After that there is a release of spore is occur, and this spore then under favorable condition again germinate, and again the life cycle of the actinomycete is continue. So next is what are the economical importance of the actinomycetes. So first one is the biocorrosion, okay. Then second one is the biopesticides. Then they also use in a biomedical. Then they also use in a agroactive compounds. Then in industrial use. Then in bioremediation, and they also use as a source of the plant growth hormone. So these are the economical importance or the applications or use of the actinomycetes. So now I just give you one exercise. Okay, you have to find out the examples of the actinomycetes which can be used as a biopesticide, which can use in a biomedical, then which are used in industrial use, and which are used in a bioremediations and the plant growth hormone production. Okay, so you have to find out the examples of the actinomycetes which produce this function. Then next is the what are the classification of the actinomycetes. Okay, so there are 7 families, okay, which are classified based on the hyphal and reproductive structure. First one is the Streptomyces, okay, and here example is given, that is the Streptomyces, Microdolosponi and Sporocytilla. Then second is the Nocardiaceae. Then next is the Micromonosporaceae. Then next is the Actinoplanaceae. Then the Dermatophyllaceae. Then Frankiaceae and the Actinomycetes. Okay, so you can see here this is Actinoplanaceae. Okay, so in this there is a formation of sporangiospories occur. Hyphae range is 0.2 to 2.0 micrometer. Dermatophyllaceae. So here they possess the hyphae that undergo fragmentation and give the large number of motile structure. Frankiaceae, which associated with the roots and of the non-leguminous plants. So they may ask the question, dash group of actinomycetes which are found near the root of non-leguminous plants. So this is Frankiaceae. Then Actinomycetes. This is the group of actinomycetes which possess the true mycelium. So this is all about the actinomycetes. Okay.